what can we talk about here? Fire type. Let's pull it up on Bulbapedia. It's as you can tell, I think just by the nature of fire, fire is a really aggressive type. It's hyper aggressive. It has very little defensive merit at all. Um, it's a similar concept to electric. I think electric and fire are very similar, which is funny because electricity can cause fire. Um, like if you electrocute something like the trees, oh no, forest fires, boom, 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 boom. But yes, fire is a very aggressive type in comparison to all the other types. I'd say it's like way on the aggressive side. It might be the most aggressive along with ice and electric. Those two are hyper aggressive. You want them. I think fighting is also on that side too, and then like steel poison are all the way over here, and I think what's another one? Rock. Like wait, okay, Rock's just in the garbage can. But I bash Rock every single vid. But we're talking about fire today. So let's talk more about it in terms of its stats and its weaknesses and stuff. Skip Gen 1 like always. Block this out of your head. You can't see me blocking it with my hand on the screen, but I'm trying to. So let's talk about Gen 2 to 5. Yes, okay. And then we'll talk about this little stuff. This is really a bonus. I thought they always did that, but anyway. So fire has offensively, it's neutral against a lot of stuff. It hits steel is probably the most critical thing that fire brings home to your fire hitting steel is probably the most advantageous thing it does offensively. Besides, hits a lot of things neutral. It's very good because a lot of steels can only be hit by ground or fire or fighting, right? But a lot of them are flying type steals, like in OU. We already talked about Celesteela and Skarmory. And you also hit 4 times on Fortress and Grass Steel thing. I always forget the names when I need them the most and I'm trying to pull out because I'm thinking of so many things I need to think of in the vid. But it hits 4 times on notable defensive walls as well. So Fire is hitting OU Pokemon specifically for Steel very well. Kartana is another one. Grass Steel, 4 times. So it's a very useful move to have offensively in the OU bracket. Luckily, a lot of Pokemon can grab fire moves really easily. Flamethrower, I've already mentioned this kind of in a different vid. Flamethrower can be learned on various amount of things. Same with Fire Punch. Very easy to access moves. I guess Pokemon had some like hot tacos before they showed up to battle, and they can spit out all their fire that they're discarding. Some hot beans, whatever you want to say. Or they light their fist on fire and they punch things, but a lot of things can have fire moves surprisingly and catch you off guard. So Steel is a notable type it hits. Ice, you don't see, and if you are seeing a defensive ice Pokemon, it was probably asking for it anyway. Grass is very good. Again, Grass and Steel. These two notable types, both of them are the like premier defensive types in OU, along with Poison. In terms of physical defense, and they're your walls. A lot of these guys are walls. So Grass, you hit Tangrowth. You used to be able to hit Venusaur, but it has thick fat. Tangrowth is the notable example, and I can't remember the Grass Steel thing to save my bacon at all ever. I need to always remember that name. I just need to pencil it in my brain, but it hits that thing, and it's important. And it also hits Bug, and that is okay. For the most part, offensively, it hits okay types. I think Steel and Grass are significant, though. Definitely significant to hit. However, it is resisted by water, which is huge. Obviously, fire going into water just gonna fizzles really badly, but there's some defensive water types. Toxapex. Toxapex is one. What else is another one? But water is a pretty common type to actually have on a Pokemon, so that's not great. Fire itself, obvious. Usually it doesn't matter because fire is not a defensive type. There's a reason for that. I'll go over it more once we get to the defensive. And then Rock. If you're having problems with Rock, you probably should just use a fighting move because you probably have one in your set, or a ground move, because those moves are really easy to get, and Rock sucks. So let's not talk about it. And Dragon's Dragon. So if you're using a fire move on a dragon, somewhere you fucked up. So defensively, it does have some merits defensively. Fire, even though I bash its defensive capabilities. Bug, again, not the most useful thing to block. It's okay. Definitely be worse, but fire is pretty solid. You want to be able to block fire. Grass, again, not very common offensive move. Usually they're more support moves. They're your powders or stuff, so it doesn't really matter. Ice is very good to block, and Steel is also very good to block. I thought Fairy got blocked too. It does. Okay, it does block Fairy. So I don't know why this has this little hesitation here. It's kind of annoying, but it does block Fairy. So it's actually a better defensive type than I gave it credit for. So maybe I have to rewrite. It actually blocks more types than I thought. Damn. Go Fire. But maybe it's not because of what it blocks. So I haven't pointed out what Fire is weak against, and that's probably why I rate it so low defensively, is because it gets hit by super effective water, rock, and ground. All of those very easy to get. You can get water on just about any Pokemon. It's similar to Fire. Pokemon just have liquid inside of them, and they just shoot it out. I can't tell you how many Pokemon just randomly learn Scald or like Hydro Pump or something like that. It's ridiculous, trust me. Same with Ground. You'll get Earthquakes. You'll get Earth Powers. Rock is just a Rock Slide. Like, I think almost every Pokemon in the game can learn Rock Slide, and if you get hit by Stone Edge. Those are very common types to be weak against. And another keynote with Rock always is Stealth Rock. So that's not great. Stealth Rock murders your team, and Fire Pokemon are no exception. They get destroyed by Stealth Rock, so that happens a lot. So that's probably why I rated them so low defensively, as I remembered all of the shit that hits them really fucking hard. Again, most of these types are not as common, so I definitely trade off having some resistances to, like, fuck these, and then maybe if I wasn't weak to ground, it'd be a better type. But defensively, Fire is nothing to write home about, is what I'm saying. It's much better offensively. And I think the Pokemon in OU will show you that, hopefully. They'll back me up and give me some credibility, because right now all I am is a guy who talks about Pokemon with a red shirt on. So hopefully I can kind of earn my stripes. Anyway, Jesus. Anyway, we'll go on to the burn factor. Is really nice. It's a nice little bonus. You block Will-O-Wisp, which is pretty good. I think that's the only other move that you're really going to worry about. I guess if you get Flamethrower, you're not going to get hit, but chances are you were not taking that much damage anyway. Frozen targets doesn't matter. Dun 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 dun. Let me see. Yeah, it's like it's very powerful, and it's cons and pros and whatever defensively. Yeah, I kind of already pointed that out. I think the pros for Fire defensively are not good enough to yield it really good defensively. And like I said, I'll explain why with the Pokemon in OU. I think they'll back me up. Let's talk about the moves. If you could get Blaze Kick on a lot more Pokemon, that'd actually be really cool. Just for the coolness factor. Fire has really cool moves. I will give it that. It's a cool type. And like I said, a lot of these moves, Fire Blast can be learned by examples like Gyarados, or I think like Golem can learn like Fire Blast. So it's Fire Blast you can get on a lot of Pokemon, surprisingly. I think Muck can learn Fire Blast is another one. I'm pretty sure. So you can get fire moves on just about anything randomly. Fiery Dance is a move we'll talk about once we get to a specific Pokemon. We'll talk about that once we get to one of my favorite Pokemon in OU bracket. And I'm being as sarcastic as I can. Fire Blast, your Thunder, your Blizzard kind of move for Fire. Fire Fang is type diversity, and it used to be Flareon's only fire move for like the longest time that it could use effectively. They thankfully give it Flare Blitz. They throw it a bone. So Eruption I don't ever see. I guess you could kind of use it on Typhlosion sets that have Eruption and they burst people down at full HP. I guess that's the only circumstance I've ever seen it on. Fire Spin you don't see. Fire Punch is an elemental punch. It's very handy. Flame Charge, I think a couple Pokemon use this, notably is Marowak, just to get some speed. It's a pretty handy move, actually. 50 base power for having one of the better side effects you could have is boosting your speed. Pretty good. Flamethrower is your Ice Beam, your Surf, Fire. Flare Blitz is your your close combat kind of move. Stone Edge, where they have a super bad side effect. Flare Blitz is damage taken to you. Actually, I think it's not as bad as some of the other side effects of the other ones. I think Stone Edge's accuracy is way worse than having taken damage from Flare Blitz. I think Flare Blitz is not that bad. I think you get off light for that, so that's not a bad trade at all. I'll take HP done to me in a lot of circumstances because you're probably gonna kill whatever you do. Same with Brave Bird. Heat Wave always misses for me, but it basically has a higher chance of burning than I think Flamethrower, and it does 5% more. I think that's the trade-off. Maybe I'm thinking of I think there's a move, Lava Plume is 30% and it does 80, and then that's your Scald. If I had the low way to move, it has a high percent chance at doing a status effect. That's why you get it. Heat Wave always misses whenever I use it. I don't really like it. It does 5 more damage than Flamethrower. I think the 5 accuracy is actually, or 10 accuracy? Yeah, 10 accuracy. I take the 10. I'll take the 5 power difference and usually go for the 10 accuracy. Like, fuck it. But a lot of birds, notable about Heat Wave, birds can learn that move. Flying types. Zapdos is one. Swallow, Pidgeotto can learn it. So it's stuff like that. You can learn it. It's like the bird type fire move because they generate heat with their wings or something like that. I don't fucking know. I'm not a scientist. Like I said, just a guy with a white shirt, or red shirt, white pants, right there. Overheat is your special move that has a side effect. Is your Draco Meteor for fire. It makes it so you lose special attack whenever you use it. It's not the greatest. It's good for sets that you run choice on. I use it on a lot of my choice sets because you're switching in and out anyway, so the special attack drop does not matter. You can also use it on sets that use like Nasty Plot and then like boost your thing up and then dip it back down. But Overheat wrecks. I think the biggest problem for me for Overheat is it has a accuracy debuff of 10 as well, which can siphon your soul out if you miss it on a critical thing. I have done that plenty of times. Don't worry. And then Sunny Day is your weather. And Will-O-Wisp is a ghost move, kind of. But a lot of fire Pokemon now, I think they're picking it up more and more. It used to be like solely ghost that could learn this, but I think like a lot of fire Pokemon now can learn it, and you can run it on sets. And if you run into a fire Pokemon that's any way, shape, or form defensive, you should expect a Will-O-Wisp. So they're very good against physical attackers. So to get a special inclined fire type is very handy as well. I cannot go through fire without talking about its weather effect. So I've talked about, hail, and I haven't talked about rain yet because I haven't done water. But Sunny Day is, out of the 4 weather effects right now, which is sandstorm, ice, and rain and fire, it is, I think it's better in sandstorm and ice, but I think it's weaker than Rain Dance. I think Rain Dance and Fire are both pretty close, though. I think more Pokemon can use Rain. Actually, I know Electric Pokemon can use Rain Dance more. Okay, it's about even. I'll give even. Sunny Day and Rain Dance are very useful, and especially nowadays, since a lot of the common Pokemon are able to summon Sunny Day teams without using the move. They have Drought. It used to be Ninetales only, but now Charizard, probably one of the most popular Fire-type Pokemon in the OU bracket, has Drought, and it boosts your Fire moves significantly, and your Water weakness becomes not a problem. So that's why Fire types are pretty strong. They get another incredible boost, and if you have any Fire types along with Charizard, you're doing really well. Or you just have to have the Fire moves. So Stealth Rock is key against Charizard and its Fire brethren, so you got to get Stealth Rock up and you got to defend up. But you should note that Sunny Day is very useful for Fire types, and you'd be at a miss, or you'd be at a loss to not run a Fire type team without Sunny Day. And luckily, I am doing that. Now, I'm not going to probably do the Rain Dance team once we get there, but we'll talk about that in another vid. But for now, we have to talk about the rest of Fire, which is the OU Pokemon in Fire. That is not the OU Pokemon right now. So what I have to do is go into Team Builder, and then... okay. let's talk about what Pokemon are in OU and what you're going to be seeing fire type related. I already mentioned it. Both Charizards, right there. Y and X, since Game Freak and its population has a hard on for Charizard because it's a dragon. They finally they're like, you know what? People have been bitching that Charizard should have been a dragon type from the very inception. Charizard used to be the worst starter for a really long time, actually. It was actually garbage until I think it got both of these. Fun fact, Charizard was never really that good. It had a belly drum set that it could run, but that's past history. Now we're running with Megas, and I would argue that Mega Charizard Y is more threatening than Mega Charizard X. This is your physical variant, and this is your special variant. They both can work each way. Just because one has tough claws or something like that, they both can go the other way. I think Charizard Y is more dangerous because it has Drought, and it is able to one-shot you with a Flamethrower or something like that. Or not even a Flamethrower, like an Overheat. Not much can take a fire attack like that and just like shrug it off. So it puts dents in your team, and it's still 100 speed is really fast. These guys have really high bonus base stat totals, so that's another thing. HP is your lowest stat, and defense, okay, like whatever. But they die to Stealth Rock. Charizard X is a little resistant to it and a little bulkier. He's harder to kill, but I think he has Dragon Dance. I want to make sure. I'm pretty sure he has DD. And then he has Tough Claw, so you usually see him have like Dragon Claw or something like that. And like I said, this guy's more predictable. Or they're not like unpredictable. It's just how can you beat them? He'll Air Slash you and then Fire Move you, and then that's all he really needs to do. So those Charizards are really threatening, and you'll see them in OU probably more than any other fire Pokemon, besides one that is at the bottom of the list, and I'll talk about him later. But Charizards are very common. They're a popular Pokemon. You'll see them maybe 1 out of 3 matches. You'll see a Charizard. Guarantee it. We'll talk about something else. Heatran. Okay. Heatran has been, I think, he just got bumped up to OU again. I think he dropped out for a little bit. I think he was in BL for a little bit, or maybe UU. But Heatran, to me, has been the OP fire Pokemon ever since its inception. It's got a magnificent type with Fire Steel. Steel is always a very good type to have. And the big thing is it has Flash Fire, so it'll eat all your fire moves against you and then just deal a lot of damage back. But it's got really good stats. They used to have like Scarfs, but I don't think anybody runs a Scarf set on them anymore. But the biggest thing about Heatran that is good is it walls off very key Pokemon, surprisingly. Now, granted, it gets shit on by like Greninja or something like that, or Water, or like obvious ground moves 4 times against it. Sure, I get it. But and fighting is actually good. Like on paper, you're like, how are you gonna tell me this thing's OP or good? Well, it just blocks. Like, if it blocks something off, Heatran, it blocks it off. Like, there's no, like, it's swing or miss for Heatran. You either have to hit it hard with, like, one of your moves, or you're not hitting it at all. It's type. You saw how much fire resisted in terms of its type tree, and you add steel to that, so, like, poisons, not great. Fairy gets destroyed by this, too. So with all these Tapus running around, again, Heatran's not a bad thing to have. So I think just having the combination that it has, it's the only Pokemon that has Fire Steel, and it's just amazing with Flash Fire, and you can catch things off guard. Flash Fire is a really good ability, because normally it would be neutral to fire, but it makes it immune, and immunity is always really nice. So with the Fairy Tapus coming into meta more, I think Heatran is actually pretty good, and like I said, it can catch things off guard. If it walls you off, it walls you off. So that's enough about Heatran. Dun dun dun. Marowak Alolan. Okay, so I talked about this kind of I think it was yesterday with a viewer that was on and talking about why is Marowak Alolan so popular and so good when his stat total is 425, which is pretty garbage. He has very good typing, and he also has Thick Club, which doubles his attack. So this 80 attack or whatever becomes 160 base with his item. You can run numerous sets. Lightning Rod is really good ability. It makes you immune to electricity. I don't see Rockhead very often. I've seen defensive sets with like Curse Body, and you get a 30% chance of disabling stuff, which is really handy. It has Shatterbone, which is a stab ghost move, which is amazing. It's a unique move. It has Bone Meringue, which is also a unique move. The only thing problematic with Bone Meringue is it has 90 accuracy, but it breaks subs and stuff. It's a very good move. And it has Flare Blitz. It's like those 3 moves you'll see on Marowak every time, and then Flame Charge is usually its other move. That way it gets speed and can run you down like a son of a gun. Big thing about Marowak is that, remember how I said a lot of the OU tank walls are steel? Marowak deals with them all. And they can't do anything back to him. Like, they can't do dicks to Marowak, because he's actually got pretty good defense. And usually they strike back with physical capabilities. I'll even show you an example. There's no way in hell that Heatran is a good example, or Ferrothorn, or Celesteela, or Chansey, or can I keep going on walls here? Skarmory, or Tangrowth. So I just mentioned all of the walls. Venusaur. They can't do anything to him. They can like status move him or something like that, but Thick Club Earthquake or Thick Club Flare Blitz, that'll one-shot anybody, no matter what their fucking stat is. He has the attack capabilities of one-shotting tanks or denting tanks that normally would be free and to do whatever they want. So that's why Marowak gets the benefit of the doubt. I think he's personally a little overrated because he gets done in really quickly. If you have anything with any speed at all, 45 speed is atrocious. So if you have a special sweeper with like water moves or something like that, you should be fine. But that's why Marowak's there. Let's look here. And last but not least, certainly not least, okay, Volcarona. Holy cow. Volcarona. I'm just going to shake my head at it. This thing, every time it comes in, or every time you see it, you're like, I know exactly what it's going to do. Can I stop it? There's no other set that this thing runs. I can build it instantaneously right now. It's really easy. Oh, man. Oh, baby. Look how easy this is going to be to build. Doesn't it have Volt Switch or something like that? And then this moves variant. I've seen Giga Drain or something like that. There you go. That's the set. Giga Drain helps you against water. And there you go. Look how easy that is to make. It has 100 speed. It's got 135 attack. So if you don't stop it on its Quiver Dance, which is probably the best setup move in the entire game in terms of giving you stat boosters, you're fucked. You just instantly lose. If you don't have an answer for it, like maybe turn 1, turn 2, dunzo. Dunzo. So it's just really frustrating to verse. You know who walls them off actually pretty well? Usually Heatran. Heatran walls them off. Other fire wall off other fire generally pretty well. Because they usually have flash fire or something like that. But this thing is a pain in the ass. Anything that has Quiver Dance with its stats is going to be a threat no matter what it is. Even if it's 4 times weak to Rock. Even if Stealth Rock, wreck it. The fact that you have Quiver Dance on this thing makes it a threat no matter what. That's why it's on the team. Or that's why it's in OU. Fiery Dance boosts 50% chance to boost your special attack as well. So you're denting things really hard and really fast. So hopefully you have an answer for it. Its defense is atrocious, so that's the best way to get about it. But there's actually pretty many fire Pokemon actually in OU. You'd be surprised. And Stealth Rock is actually, I think, if I had to guess, I was like, wow, Stealth Rock should ruin fire from being in OU. But it's strange because both Volcarona and Charizard Y are both 4 times weak to Stealth Rock, but that doesn't stop them from being OP. Or in OU, I guess. I don't know about OP. That's the wrong verbiage. So it just goes to show you that sometimes having a really exploitable weakness doesn't mean you're bad if you can overcome it. Especially if the stats is to just plow through it. It doesn't matter. And those guys definitely have the stats to do it, especially in the fire or in sunny day. They can just wreck you. So you always have to be ready for fire types with Stealth Rock, because you can take them out at least 50 HP, which makes your life a little easier, but they're there for a reason, and they dent your defensive walls. Fire types wreck your walls, a lot of them, so you have to be ready for it. So the common walls get wrecked, and fire also has the power to do it. They have a lot of power behind their moves, so that's fire type. And I'm glad they make the game actually more fun by far. In comparison to a lot of other types that kind of stall out. They're like usually hyper aggressive. They don't have like a single support move in their thing besides Will-O-Wisp. So I like fire type. It's a very good type. That's why I kind of saved it towards the back end. Definitely in like my top like 10 of types, which I guess is not saying much. Maybe like 7. Top 10, top 7 types. I really like fire type a lot. So making a fire team though actually really hurt my eyes. So we'll be ready for it hopefully. Alright, so what I had to do for my fire team